Okay, I think we'll get going. Hi, my name's Alex, and I'm one of the secondary maths learning designers at Oxford University Press, and I'm really happy to welcome you all here today to our webinar Pathways to Success with Oxford Maths 7 to 10 New South Wales Curriculum. We begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the many lands on which we create and share our learning resources. We acknowledge the traditional owners as the original storytellers, teachers, and students of the land we call Australia. We pay our respects to elders past and present. We also extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples joining us today. So I'll just give you a quick overview of our webinar today. We'll start by having a look at some of the challenges introduced when teaching the new syllabus, and then have a closer look at planning for and teaching pathways in Stage 5, which we know is a pain point at schools looking to teaching the Stage 5 for Years 9 and 10 this year and next year. After that, I'll introduce you to Oxford Maths 7 to 10 New South Wales Curriculum. We'll have some time at the end for questions, but if you have any questions throughout, pop them in the Q&A chat and we'll get to them as soon as we can. I'd also like to draw your attention to, alongside the Q&A, there is a resources section as well, where there are some downloadable resources available for you to have a look at. So I'd like to introduce you to our author and presenter, Karen Bellamy, who's the numeracy leader at Aurora College and is the head teacher of mathematics there as well. She's our series consultant for Oxford Maths New South Wales Curriculum 7 to 10. So thank you, Karen.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for joining this afternoon. I just wanted to go through a few things with you and to show you how you can make use of the Oxford University Press's suite of books and how that will work best for you and your students. I guess first we need to acknowledge a few different things that are challenges within the new syllabus that we have. So we know that it's going to be taught in Year 7 and 9 this year, and then in Stage 5 we have our core and pathways. That in itself is a big change from what we've ever had in my working memory. We have a new overarching working mathematically outcome, and I had a little bit of research on that today, and it is the only overarching outcome that is relevant or that is in the New South Wales syllabuses. So maths is once again doing something very different to everybody else, and to get your head around that is a little bit different as well. And there is that greater emphasis once again on working mathematically and the ideals rather than being concept based. So the applying, reasoning, justification, problem solving, and there's a big push for connections between the different content. Working within the pathways. So we know that the pathways is quite challenging to think about, but it's actually quite flexible as well. So students can be in extended or go along pathways individually or as a class with a range of endpoints up to the end of Stage 5. The pathways can achieve this by there's pre-tests, so you will go into it a little bit more later on, but the online suite from Oxford is really great. It's got some good information in there, but the one thing that I really love, and I'll give you some samples of it in a little while, is the learning pathways and or the individual learning plan for each student for each topic, or if you teach it where it's a little bit from each chapter, then you can take the bits that you need for each chapter. So it's really concise, and it gives each student a clear pathway. So the pathways can be achieved in many different ways, and I know sometimes it's a challenge, but you can have them grouped. And so you always make sure, like, I don't know if you have a traditional classroom or if you're willing to try grouped classrooms. I always find kids having whiteboards as they walk in as well. So they're working together all the time and they're talking and reasoning, and they're working with people that are similar so they can work together and discuss things and understand it. So extension students are working together, and then middle and low students grouped together with lots of teacher instruction. So you can do an overview of the instruction, and then the kids who understand it can move forward. And then you can work more closely with the other groups if you need to. But the textbooks actually allow you to do that very easily, and I'll go into that in a little bit more depth soon. The core provides the foundation for standard maths, and then the pathways go more into the advanced and extension, which is similar to the 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3 pathways. So the pathways within the textbooks are very clearly labelled. So as you can see in the index, you can see that symmetry and reflections is an advanced topic. So your students that are doing a core pathway, or a core with a little bit of with a little bit of the pathways in it, may not necessarily need to do the symmetry and reflections. You may go, I'll get you to keep working on this while I go and teach this to these students. And then you can see area and volume scale factors, congruence and congruent triangles are all now a pathway to extension maths. So that's at the index at the front of the book. You then have at the beginning of each chapter curriculum links, and this tells you what the outcome is. It also tells you the dot points of the outcome, and then it tells you where they fit into the pathways into stage 6 as well. Now, this is the thing that will help you with your students. The exercise 4A, solving linear equations, you have a triangle, a square, and a hexagon. If I've got that right, I always say them wrong. And this gives you 3 different pathways to follow for different students. So if your student has a basic understanding, you can say, can you go and do the triangle questions, please? Can you follow that path? If they're average, go and do the square ones. Or you can, your advanced kids can move further forward with those other questions in the 3rd group. If you have a student that is really struggling with the information, you also have an interlink. So it tells you, and if you have the online suite, this is actually an active link. It tells you that you can go to 6C, terms, expressions, and equations, and get some pre-learning done in there, or some brush up of some skills. And then once again, you could go back into year 8 as well. This was a year 9 activity that I got this one from, or you can move forward into solving quadratics into year 10. So it gives you that flexibility of where your students can go within that one classroom. I just think that makes things so much easier in so many different ways, and shows you how that core pathway can be addressed within a class. When we talk about working mathematically, we talk about our communicating, understanding and fluency, reasoning and problem solving. And these are things that we aren't explicitly teaching, but we're developing with our students all the way. So why it's overarching is because your early stage 1 mathematician, you still want to be able to reason or communicate what they understand. You want them to be able to reason something, or you want them to be able to go, well, I know that 1 + 1 = 2. What do I know about that to solve 1 + 3? So you're still working mathematically wherever you are, and that's why it's an overarching one, because it's just them growing those set of skills, and those set of skills that they will need to, that they can apply outside of mathematics when they are adults and working in different environments. So they're mainly embedded, and there's something that we've started, when we do our assessment tasks, we've actually started coding them to identify where we do have opportunities for students to demonstrate they're working mathematically, rather than just answering a question, a content-based question. So working with the textbook online, they have pre-tests that you can do. Now, these pre-tests come in a range of questions. So you have true or false questions. You have where you have to pick the answers yourself. And then there are other ones as well where you might have to put an answer in. You might have to drag and match. So like a matching activity. There are many different ways to do that, and they're not just testing. So while this looks like we're testing circumference of a circle, it's actually, in a lot of ways, it's testing their rounding, it's testing their understanding of presenting things in exact form. And as you go through, you realize, I went through and did a quiz the other day, and you actually realize that embedded in it is a whole lot of other stuff to check that they have that prior knowledge, but also knowledge that can come in that relates to the topic as well. So I think that's quite handy and quite in depth and great to see. You see their results and how I can't quite read what that says, but that's basically what they got right and what they got wrong. Now that 67%, it is, worth noting that question 1 might have had 3 parts to it, but it was only worth 1 mark. So if she got 2 out of the 3, she still didn't get the whole lot right. So, but in the back end of it, where they're actually creating the individual learning plans, it acknowledges what was right and what was wrong in that section. So while it looks like it's a low score, if you counted each part of it, it would probably be a little bit higher, but they're trying to refine that individual learning plan. So this is what an individual learning plan looks like. Now you can download this and print it out, or you can give it to them in a digital document, and it has live links there. So this says the questions that they should address. So in surface area, it suggests these are the questions that they need to do, and then they also have resources. Now those resources will be shown more to you further on today, but it also has like a little topic quiz that they can do as well. So you can always follow where they're going and what their understanding's like. So if you've got a student that you do want to extend past, or that you're working on a core topic with a group and they're just, they've blitzed that, you can move them into the pathway. Like trigonometry is a perfect one. You could move them into the pathway of trigonometry, and they could do it from their ILP, because they have the recordings there of how to do something, and then they have the questions that they can do to show that understanding as well. So as you can tell, there's lots of different ways that you can address everything and make sure that the students are aware of where they need to be and where they need to go. And then if you go back to here, this is part of a bigger report, which shows you their mastery across the topic as well. So that was just to show you all of the different kinds that different kinds of questions and resources that they could use. We did last year release a book for a guide to the New South Wales curriculum and how it was changing. So if there was any information that you wanted there, you can receive it from that page. All right, so planning, and I will get through this quickly. So you need to embrace the flexible pathways. Don't lock them into a pathway. That's not really what the whole idea of this new syllabus is. Explore their strengths and build on these. Let the students choose their own pathway for a concept-based course in there to choose their confidence, but always be trying to just push them that little bit further and just get them there. So plan your work and work your plan. So have regular conversations about stage 6. Let them know what they need to be doing if that's where they want to head, and show them the kind of questions that they'll have in either course. Give them, make sure it's not just a one-off conversation, that it's something that they're talking about all of the time. Adopt good habits from year 7. So get them to complete some kind of survey so you know what kind of a learner they are, and then teach them how to do homework or sets-based homework. Make it optional. We know we're not allowed to set homework, but always have it as something that they've already covered in the stage, whether it be this year or the year before, just to keep reminding them, and teach them how to study. They don't know how to study. And teach them how to make summary sheets with annotations. So they should be able to access different pathways for each topic depending on their strengths. Students have worked in groups according to ability levels, so you can instruct some while others are working with the printed material or on the digital platform. Use strategic groups of students. So if you've got a student that's very confident, put them with someone who isn't confident so they can bring them out and say to them, you need to be the leader, but you can't control the conversation. You need to help us bring it out. That way, those people are working on that pathway. Your other people are working on another pathway, and you're there working where you need to be. And have some of them working independently, but let them know that you're still monitoring them, and let them know that, you know, you can see what they've been doing in their Oxford suite, or you can have a look at their workbook and see what they're doing as well. So we've got our pathways, we've got the 7 and 8 and the 9 and 10, which you've already seen, so I won't go into all of that again. This is the other thing that I did want to point out to you. So as we said at the beginning, it shows you all of the different content that's there, and then it will also show you things here like we have standard and is that standard? Yeah, standard and extension, and then standard and advanced, sorry, or over here we've got advanced and extension as well. So it shows you in several different places where each of those each of the set of questions in the book hit the syllabuses moving towards stage 6. And as you can see, I just wanted to show you that even though it's in the challenge, it shows you that it is standard and advanced as well. So it shows you the information in several different ways, so you can find it easily. And your students know that the information that they're working on will, for this particular question, will take them through to a standard or advanced pathway. So this is what I was talking about before, that you can actually see where the student is going overall. So you can see that this person has done the core, 50% of the core. So you can keep track of that, and you can deep dive into that a little bit further than you have. And you can see if they've been doing any of the advanced questions or any of the work that would lead them towards doing advanced in year 11 and 12, which means that you've got that data on hand to have that conversation with them confidently to say, well, this is what you've shown me so far. And, you know, you can have that conversation with confidence that you're giving them the best information that you can. We do have sample scopes and sequences, which we show you where we can actually meet core and pathways. So as you can see, different exercises hit both the core and pathway. So you do have that chance to extend into an advanced pathway in year 11 and 12. And that's just another one as well. This is showing you the advanced pathway for this person in year 10, or for this, this scope and sequence. All right, thank you so much. If you do have any questions, please do contact me. I'm more than happy to help anyone or have a chat to anyone about anything that we've talked about today. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. So as Karen said, please feel free to pop, not just contact Karen, but we'll have time at the end of today's webinar to answer any questions. So if you do have any burning questions, especially about pathways at stage 5, please do pop them in the chat and we'll get to them. But for now, I'm going to introduce you, or perhaps to remind you, of Oxford Maths 7 to 10 New South Wales Curriculum. So this is a teaching and learning resource purpose written for the New South Wales Curriculum Mathematics, published in 2022. And it's designed to help you deliver differentiated instruction that meets the needs of students and makes maths accessible for everyone in your class. So the way you teach it is up to you. We have a student book plus online OBook Pro, so a print plus digital blend available. Alternatively, you can go digital only and forego the student print book. We do have a teacher version of the online resources, which includes extra things like less detailed lesson plans to help you as you plan your teaching. So let's have a look at some of the key features of the print books first. This is all, of course, included in the digital version of the book, but let's have a look at the print features. So each chapter begins with an opening spread, and this includes a list of all the topics included in the chapter, a detailed list of the prerequisite skills required for each chapter, which we've talked a little bit about and we'll see a bit more soon. We also provide all of the links to the curriculum, so you know which parts of the curriculum are being covered in each chapter. So we have a bit of a zoom in on the prerequisite skills list. So you can see that we have a link to the diagnostic pretest in the digital version of the book. This is a hotspot and takes you straight to the pretest, and that assesses students' ability levels for each prerequisite skill. For each, the platform then gives each student a personalized learning pathway report based on their results for each skill. So part of this, if it assesses that they either need to learn a skill or need to practice one, they're assigned an interactive skill sheet. So there's one of these for every single skill in the series. And these are designed to help students, first of all, learn the skill or perhaps revise it, and then it assesses their knowledge. So there's two parts, one where they're able to check their answers and it's structured so that they're able to learn the skill as they go through, and another one where they apply it. They're able to complete these interactive skill sheets as many times as they like and whenever they like, if they need to revise a skill. So moving on, in each lesson we start with learning intentions provided in plain English. We also have the inter-year links that Karen spoke about. These are designed to help you view the series as we do, that is, as a continuum of learning. So here in this fractions topic from year 7, we have access to some support resources from at a year 5, year 6, stage 3 level through to year 8 content on fractions, depending on if your student is struggling and needs that extra support, or if you'd like to extend them up to a higher level, but still have them working on related content. So inter-year links are provided in print and digital for every topic. We have our theory sections, which is all written in simple dot points. So it's designed to be engaging for students and written in student-friendly language. You'll never see a big block of text. It's all broken up with diagrams and color, anything that we can to help visually engage students with their learning and help them to understand. Every topic includes between 1 to 5 worked examples, usually 3 or 4. And they're written in a think-write format, so students can see what they should be thinking as they're working through a question, and then what they should be writing on the paper, because we know that those two things aren't quite the same. For every worked example, there's a video of someone working through the question in just the way that the student is. They're talking out loud and thinking and writing down what they should be on a tablet. So it's designed to be very student-friendly as a video format. Actually, we have got a sample worked example video to have a look at. So just switch to that. Yes.
Sherm, 6 cancels with our 6, leaving 1 as our denominator and 1a as our numerator. 6 cancels with 18 3 times, again leaving 1 as our denominator. In simplified form, this is 6 bracket a plus 3. Part B, x squared minus 7x. In this case,
so hopefully that gives you an idea of what the worked example videos look like. Before the exercises in each topic, we include helpful hints that help to provide students with key information, including things like common misconceptions and common mistakes, or useful tips and tricks that just don't quite fit in the theory. So, for example, reminding them to find the common denominator when adding and subtracting fractions, or to remember SOHCAHTOA as a way to remember their trig ratios in years 9 and 10. So let's move on. Halfway through each chapter, we include a checkpoint quiz. These questions are designed to help you make sure students have engaged and understand the first half of the chapter before moving on to the second half, to help you avoid reaching the end of the chapter and realizing that students are still struggling with what you covered right at the start. There is an online checkpoint quiz as well, and I do want to clarify that the questions in the online quiz are different to the ones covered in the book, so you can have students complete both and know that there is no double up. They're all different questions covering the same content. At the end of the chapter, we include a chapter summary page. These are available as a downloadable resource in the OBook Pro as well. I like to think that you could download all 8 summary pages from the Year 9 book, for example, and then you'd have a summary book consisting of those 8 pages that covers the entire Year 9 course. So they're available for every chapter in the series. After this, we include a mathematical literacy review, which includes a list of all the key terms included in the chapter and some questions checking that students actually understand what all those words mean and how they can use them. We know that students often find that the first stumbling block in a question is actually just that they don't understand what the words mean. So this is our way of helping you guide students through that. We include a Quizlet revision set of all of those key terms as well for them to have extra practice online. Our chapter reviews include multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and longer analysis questions to help students practice what they've learned in different forms. At the end of the chapter, we include a chapter checklist with all the success criteria from this chapter. There's an online version of the chapter checklist with an accompanying report, which I'll show you very soon. Halfway through each book and at the end, we include a semester review of all of the content in either the first or the second halves of the book. This includes short answer and longer analysis questions. In addition, at year 7 and 9, we do have online NAPLAN practice tests available as well. We're really happy to have a partnership with the Australian Maths Trust. But through this, we have 2 spreads of questions in each book, so that's 8 in total. And these are all spreads of low floor, high ceiling questions that really get students to work on their mathematical problem solving skills. These are aligned to the New South Wales curriculum, and we do have suggestions of how to use these throughout the year in our detailed lesson plans. As Karen's pointed out multiple times, in stage 5, all the pathways are labelled very clearly in the contents, the index, on every page, anywhere that it could be helpful to know this is exactly what you're teaching, what your students are learning, you know where you're at, you know which part of the curriculum you're teaching. It's all there made very visual in the 3 different colours of light blue for standard, purple for advanced, and pink for extension. So that's the print book. Our online platform is Oxford Digital. We have an enhanced e-reader with hotspots to all the interactive resources, so you don't need to go looking for anything. It's all right where you would expect it to be. It has an inbuilt Oxford dictionary, and you can share notes with your students. You can group students, assign homework, monitor student engagement very easily. And it's very nice in maths. All of our assessments online are auto-marked, so there's no extra marking for you. It's auto-marked using a powerful maths scorer that's even able to mark algebra questions correctly. Like it knows x plus 1 and 1 plus x are the same. So don't worry, the questions are still reaching that level that students need to be assessed at. And we map everything back to the New South Wales curriculum as well. The inter-year links are available online, and that includes links to the student pages of the either extra support or extension resources that you're looking at, as well as all of the accompanying resources that go with that. So let's have a look at a bit more detail. We still have our 4 partners, the Australian Maths Trust. We have integrated calculators from Desmos. We have Learnosity powering our online quizzes, and we have Quizlet for those mathematical literacy revision sets. We're really excited by our partnership with ClickView, which launched last year. We're creating more than 350 new key content videos. So that's at least 1 video for every topic in the book, designed to cover every content description in the new syllabus. So this covers the theory and some of the worked examples in the book. So you could use them perhaps if you were away and needed to leave a lesson, or students could use it in a flipped learning classrooms model, or even just revision to come back to a topic and need that reminder of what they need to do and what the key skills are. So the first 100 videos are ready, and we are adding to these each year until we have full course coverage. So if you notice something's missing, don't worry, we're getting there. We'll add it soon. And in the meantime, we are able to license videos from the ClickView website. So if your school has a ClickView account, we have links to appropriate videos to fill in some of the gaps while we're still working on the key content videos. Just to be clear, The key content videos are embedded in our site. You do not need a click-view video to watch those. They're part of our content that we provide with the series. So let's have a look at the Student and Teacher OBook Pro. I'm only going to do a briefer demonstration of this, and that's because last year we did a full digital demonstration and walking through how to do everything. There's be a link posted in the chat. It's also included as one of the resources, and we'll provide the link to this again in the follow-up email that we send out. But I am going to show you the basics of how to navigate the website, the key things you should look out for, and a couple of new features that weren't included in that video. So you'll still get to know everything that you need. On screen at the moment are the details for the sample digital account. You'll be emailed these as well, so you can go online and play on this account. Included on this account are extra resources beyond the resources that we've provided as part of the webinar today. This includes sample scope and sequences for stage 4 and stage 5, so all the pathways included in stage 5 as well. So they're all available on this sample account, so I encourage you to go and have a look. But for now, let's have a look at the account. So let me just share screen. Okay, so I'm logging in using the sample account that we've provided. I have the details saved, so I can go in. So here we are on the library page. I can see up here that I'm logged in as the Maths New South Wales sample account. Across the top, the library button takes me back to this page. I can manage my classes here. I'm not going to click in, but if you ever have any questions about managing your classes, our friendly sales team consisting of Callie and Lisa, they're very happy to help you out and make sure you have everything set up correctly. And there's a help button directing you to any extra help resources we have. Here on the left, we have an extra widget that tells you that you can also link to the Manage Classes setup. You can activate any new products, and you can set up offline access. I'll click on this button. So this replaces PDF downloads. I'm not going to actually download it because I'd have to turn off my Wi-Fi, and I don't think we want that today. But there are detailed instructions here provided here. And again, if you need any help, please reach out to our sales consultants or to our team more generally, and we're happy to get you set up correctly. Here we have access to all of the products that the sample teacher has access to. So this has the 4 sample chapters available, and the Year 7 sample includes a digital sample for you as well. We do also have the guide to the new New South Wales syllabus if you're interested in looking at that as well. But let's go into the Year 7 sample. So this is the home page for the Year 7 sample. Across the top, we have Home. This takes us back to this page that we're currently looking at. Resources shows me a list of all of the resources in the book. Assigned work shows me, as I'm logged in as a teacher, this shows me any work that I've assigned to students. And reports shows me student results. Scrolling down on the page, I have notifications. These can be sorted by class. So if I click into the New South Wales sample class, I can see there's currently no notifications, but this could be that an assignment is due soon or that students have completed set work. Let's go into the e-reader and have a look. Okay, so while this loads, we can see on the left that we have all of the topics for our sample chapter, which is Year 7, Chapter 3. We can see that the opening spread that I was talking about that opens every chapter. So across the bottom, we have book content. So I can click this to open and close the book content. Clicking resources shows me all of the resources associated with this page. Here, for example, you can see that we've loaded extra resources beyond what would normally be included in Year 7, Chapter 3, like both of the Stage 4 and 5 sample scope and sequences documents, as well as teaching programs for all of Year 7. Here is some of the interactive skill sheets, the diagnostic pretest, everything's in a list here. I can also see on the page that these are hotspots and I could access the interactive skill sheets, for example, by clicking on these buttons. Here I have just clicked on one of the buttons. So this is the number line skill sheet. You can see as a teacher I've done it before, but when I click start and go in, I'll see some instructions that tell the student what it is about the assessment that they're about to look at. And then this is the first page that we call it. And we can see that here's some information about number lines, and here's a question that students can fill in. So if I get the question incorrect, I can click check answer, and then not only tells me I got the value of A correct, but B was incorrect, and overall this is incorrect. So if I put in the correct value of B now, it tells me that I've now got the question correct and the student can move on. The second page has just questions. They're similar in style to those on the first page, but it's designed to check that they've actually understood and retained that information. So there's usually 6 to 10 questions, usually 6 or 7, to help them do that. And as I said earlier, they can complete these whenever they like, as many times as necessary, whenever they need to revise. So that's the resources button. Next, we have the notes button. So I can highlight some of the information on screen, pick the color I'd like to highlight it with, and add a note. Notes can also be shared with students. I can bookmark pages, for example, in this spread, if I want, and I can share this in case I want students to be able to see it again later. I have the integrated Oxford Dictionary, so included. So if I don't understand a word, I can just look it up and it'll come up with the definition. I can zoom in and out, or I can reset to the button. Sorry, my internet is struggling a little bit with loading this page today. Next, very excitedly, we have 4 integrated Desmos calculators. So we have the geometry tool, the simple 4-function calculator, the scientific calculator, and really exciting is the graphing calculator. This is great for any graphing chapters where students can simply type in the equation they're looking at and have the graph straight up there straight away. So it's all integrated and included in the product. We can then jump to another page using the arrows or typing in the page that we want to go to directly. So let's exit the dictionary. And here we are on topic 3A. Again, we have hotspots. So let's have a look at what an inter-year link looks like. So I'll go into one of the support hotspots. So remember, this includes content at a years 5-6 level. There's no textbook pages for support. So what you need to do is follow the instructions on the screen, click the resources button, and we can see all of the resources available at this support level. All of the inter-years links for years 8 to 10 include the textbook pages as well as all of the resources that accompany it in those books. So let's go through to the chapter review. So I'll open the book content and go to the chapter review. You could, of course, click through all of the chapter alternatively as well. So here we have the chapter summary page, the mathematical literacy review, and then labeled the multiple choice questions, the short answer questions, and the analysis questions. Last, at the end, we have the chapter checklist, and I'm going to click on this hotspot and complete the checklist so you can see what it looks like. This is a feature that's now working and is the functionality is working properly. So we were brought to this page. As you can see, I've completed this before, so students can recomplete a checklist if their level of confidence changes or they want to see an overall result of how they're going. So we click start. I brought up a list of all of the success criteria for chapter 3. There's quite a lot, but I can say I have a high level of confidence. I've got this. Medium, I need more practice. Or low, I've got more work to do. So I'm just going to fill this in randomly, but students can take the time and self-assess where they're at. And we'll click submit. This just takes a moment to load because it is collating all the data, and there are quite a few success criteria for this chapter, so just give it a moment to load. I really like the report that comes up when we do this, but you can see that my overall result is still low. So this is what's visible to students, and I'll show you later on what it looks like for the teacher review view. So let's go out of the e-reader and start having a look at some of the other tabs across the top here. So you have the resources tab. So this includes basically a really long list of every single resource in the book that we provide. You can sort to just see, for example, all the resources associated with 3A, so it's a bit easier to see. Or if you choose Chapter 3, Fractions and Ratios, this takes you to all of the resources included in Chapter 3. You can, for example, toggle this teaching support switch, and that shows you all of the teaching resources designed to help you as a teacher. So you can see that this curriculum grid, for example, has this barred symbol. That means it's a teacher-only item. We do also have, if I now sort for worked solutions, this crossed out eye image, this means it's hidden from a student. This means that for students to be able to see the work solutions, you need to assign it to them. So it's not immediately available to them, but it is available for you to assign to them. So that's the resources tab. Next, we have assigned work. So this shows me, once I've selected my class, which is the sample class, all of the assignments that I've set or that have been completed by this class, and I can delete them once they're done as well, or if something's incorrect. So I can do that, and I can click this down arrow and see the information. So this assignment was to set the 3A topic quiz. I can see who I set it to and if I sent a specific message. The last one is the reports tab. So here everything is sorted by sample class, so I can see the assessment report. So this shows the actual just results from all the quizzes and online assessments that we have. So if I click into here, I can see the breakdown of everything included in Chapter 3. I can even click on this button and I can see the breakdown by question for all of the students in this class. So you can see that most of them that have completed the quiz found question 1 okay, but they seem to have struggled a bit more with questions 9 and 13. So that information is available to you as well. Next, we have the curriculum report. When that loads, this does load all of the curriculum at the same time, so it can just take a moment, but it does do all of it. We can see here that first of all, we have student 1, for example, they've gotten 70% of all of the questions they've attempted correct. And then we can go into the number and algebra questions because that's all that's included in this sample. We can see the outcomes are given here when you hover over them. And then I can go into even more detail and we have the breakdowns from the dot points under each outcome included as well. So you can see really clearly where students are succeeding or where perhaps they might need a bit more support. The last report is the skills report, and this shows you the results from each of the pre-tests. So Karen was talking to you about the learning pathway reports or individual learning plans, whichever you choose to call them. So the student results are given here. And if you click on, for example, the below level assignment that's been given here, I can open it up and see what this student has been assigned. If it'll load, there we go. So I have access as the teacher to see exactly what's been assigned to students and to download them as PDFs as well. I can download the entire class. If I think that a student's had a bad day and hasn't been assigned the right learning pathway report, I can reset the pre-test. So as a teacher, the power is ultimately in your hands. You are able to assign them work separately outside this as well. I would also like to show you how we show the pathways results in year 9 for stage 5. So I'm going to open up. I need to switch screen. This one. Okay. So this is a sample of the year 9 book. I just wanted to say that this particular one that I'm looking at is not included in the sample, but I did want to show you it so that you know what you would be looking at should you decide to look at adopting this series at your school. So I'm going to go into the e-reader and let it load. It should open to chapter 1 because that's what I was looking at last. So what's great about the e-reader is it remembers where you were up to last. So you don't have to always remember to bookmark a page. It will always remember where you were looking at last and will open up to that page next time. So here we have chapter 1, which covers some financial maths skills. We can see that because there's no tags next to any of the content, this is all core. And if I look at the checkpoint quiz, again, when it loads, we can see there's only one checkpoint quiz because, again, this is all core content. And it's the same with the chapter review. When it loads, we'll see that it's also only core content. Here, there's just one. But if we go to chapter 3 instead, we'll see that this is a mixture of core and advanced content. So instead of having only one checkpoint, we have 2, one for each pathway. So including core. So it's core plus advanced. So here, students have the option to complete a core checkpoint quiz and an advanced checkpoint quiz. I want to clarify that these 2 quizzes are essentially the same quiz. So the advanced quiz covers all of the content, whereas the core quiz is the same quiz, but with the advanced questions removed. Students can complete more than one, but you will notice that there is double up in the questions. And then if we go to the chapter 3 review, you'll see that once again, there are 2. So there's always will include the number of core and or paths included in the chapter. There'll always be that number of quizzes. So let's have a look at how this is presented in the assessment report. So we'll go in, we'll pick a maths class. And so we can see here, since this is a copy of the full book, we do have all of the chapters loaded. And here for chapter 1, we have the chapter checklist and the review. When students complete the chapter checklist, this would populate with all of their emojis as to whether they're feeling confident, medium level, like low, high, medium or high levels of confidence. And so you can use that and either compare with their review results or use it to inform whether you'd like to revise or reteach something before doing any assessment. So yeah, so here for chapter 1, we can see that there's just the one review because it's all core content. Whereas if we moved over to chapter 3, we can see that there's now a core quiz and there's an advanced quiz. So this class is working on just the core content clearly because they've all completed the core quiz, but you could have a mixture of students completing the core quiz and the advanced quiz, or both if you really wanted them to have a look at some of the advanced questions later on. If I click into chapter 3, I have the breakdown of all of the content. And then if I click into the checkpoint, this is where I can see the results for the 2 quizzes. So they are all available. You do have results for all of the students. All of the pathways are clearly labeled, and you can see at a glance which students are completing which pathways. We'll clarify this is included in years 9 and 10, this advanced report, because of course that is stage 5. That's where we have the different pathways to assess. So that's all I had planned for the digital demo today. I will remind you that we do have a link to that extra information, that extra digital demo that will walk you through very slowly and comfortably whatever you need to know about it, including the different types of quizzes, because I've only shown you an interactive skill sheet today. So please have a look at that. And then if you have any questions, please reach out. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. So lastly, we know lots of schools do access our series through Campion or Box of Books, and you might be looking at this going, great, where are all your resources? They're available with just one click from either the Campion or Box of Books sites, as shown on the screen here. So if you're looking for them, please reach out. We'd love to help you use them and make the best of all the resources we have on offer. So now I'll pass over to Lisa, who will talk you through product configurations, pricing, and availability.
Thank you so much, Alex. Okay, so we're almost at the end. As Alex has mentioned, we do have a wide range of options for you. There's print only, print and digital, or depending on how your school purchases, there are school licenses available. And this is where my lovely colleague and I, your account managers, Kelly James and myself, can help you make the right choice of Oxford Maths product for yourself and your school. And our details are right here, and we would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, please get in contact. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. So we have time now for any questions that you have. So Karen, if you'd like to come back on screen, we'll start. We'll have some questions that have come through the chat. So there's one here about, are the skill sheets able to be printed for students who prefer hard copies? At the moment, no. The skill sheets are designed to be interactive and to have that automatic feedback. This is to help save you some time, but it does mean that students do need to complete it online. This, of course, doesn't prevent them from doing any working out on paper. I usually actually encourage that. It's a lot easier to work out maths on paper, but they are all completed online. And they do require internet access to complete these, I believe. So you will need to be online to complete quizzes. It's not available in the downloadable version for the offline product. There are plenty of other worksheets and investigations that are available as downloadable resources that are just PDFs, so you can download and print them. There's over 170 of each of those included across the series. So if you do have students who really do prefer working on paper without that digital side of things, I'd encourage you to have a look at that, because we do have those resources to support those students. Just another note on doing the online quizzes, there is a really handy maths equation editor that's included in when you click on a box to type in maths. So it means like typing in things like fractions and square roots a lot easier, because they click on a button and then they can fill in the number using that. So it makes typing maths much less painful than it usually is. Okay. So we have the sample sign-on. How does it know what questions that they've done from tests, or do they do the questions online? So all of the assessment report and all of the reports included on Oxford Digital are based on the quizzes that we have online. So it is looking directly at the online quiz results. So we have the pre-test, we have a topic quiz for every topic, we have the checkpoint quiz, we have the chapter review quiz, and we do have the checklist, which isn't quite a maths quiz, but it does show you the results from that as well. And then there are also the NAPLAN practice quizzes included as well for year 7 and 9. So it's throwing all of that information. There is an option for you to add a test result as well to an assessment report. And if you'd like to try that with any of your classes, please reach out and we'll show you how to do that. So are there any other questions? You're welcome to address a question to Karen as well. How can we access the worksheets? The worksheets are included as resources for each lesson. So you can access those through the e-reader by clicking the resources button at the bottom of the page, or you can access them by bypassing the e-reader and going straight to the resources tab. And then you can search for just all of the worksheets and have all of those appear for each book. So you should be able to find them. Again, though, if there's something you're looking for and you can't find it, please reach out. We'll set you straight and get you what you need. Are there any other questions coming through? I think that's it. Please reach out if you have any questions at all about using the series. And as Karen said, she's more than happy to talk to you whenever you need about, especially the teaching the pathways and planning for that. We know that that's a stressful thing for schools, as it's a big change in the curriculum, having the flexibility to teach the different pathways at years 9 and 10. And that's something we're really trying to support, because that is what NSW wants, for students to be able to have the flexibility to access the different pathways and not be locked in from the start of year 9. And that's something we're really trying to support with this series. So I think we'll wrap up there.
There's just a question from David,
yes.
Alex.
Yes, thanks, Bryn. How do we suggest using these resources if we can only afford to purchase one book for every 2 or 3 students? I think that will ultimately come down to you as a school and prioritizing what's best. I think the online quizzes, obviously the results would be quite difficult if you're sharing a resource between, say, 2 or 3 students. I'd highly recommend reaching out to either Callie or Lisa. They'll be able to help you and get you what you need and come up with the best plan to help you support your students with what you're able to do. So reach out. You're not in this alone. There's plenty of schools and students who need a bit of extra help in getting things set up to work as smoothly as possible and find the best solution. And Callie and Lisa are here to help. So I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much for coming. We know that it's a very busy time and we're coming up towards the end of term. So thank you for coming. I hope you've had a great day and that you have a fantastic rest of the week. Thank you.